Hey guys, Adam Fennig here with Fennig Equipment. You're tuned into the Talking Shed. Hey, today we're in here in the warehouse, not out in the field today, but I wanted to talk to you guys about some things I've been seeing a lot of this fall, and that's heavy corn residue. It's something we've been fighting now for years. In fact, it's a big reason why a lot of the products that we sell are popular. Maybe the row cleaners or the Eder Devastator, but I want to talk through some things I've seen. I've been in a lot of cornfields this fall, demoing equipment and just visiting customers, and I want to talk to you about some products that can really help start the residue breakdown process of your corn stalks. If you're not starting the residue breakdown process with your corn head, you are completely missing the boat. I see a lot of stalks standing straight up out there with just regular stalk rolls. The top 3/4 of the stalk really aren't chewed up that well. Man, that's a lot that you're missing out on. That's a free pass right there without any additional fuel or any additional horsepower, to where we can use that corn head to start that breakdown process. What I mean by that is, this is one example. This is the Yield 360 chain roll, and I'll get a little closer here. This is the Yield 360 chain roll, and what it is designed to do is, obviously it's your stalk rolls, and if you look, it's got really aggressive edges to it. And what this thing will do is it will chew up the top 3/4 of the stalk into really fine pieces. It'll create a lot of surface area, and it will allow that to get broken down really fast. It's a big difference, between your standard stalk rolls and, a lot of guys will use the Calmers, or John Deere has some opposing ones now. Whatever brand, flavor, or color you want, I think you have to have a stalk roll that leaves your residue in quarter-size pieces. You have to. It's a must. With how wet this corn came off, those stalks are still extremely tough this year, and we're still going to fight this through the spring. I can guarantee it, whenever you go back in there and plant beans. The other instrument that you can use on your corn head, and you knew I was going to talk about it because we've been preaching it for years, that's the Eder Devastator. There's no sense in letting that strong stalk stand straight up. We need to get that thing bent over, we need to get it crimped, and that's what this Devastator does. As it rolls across the ground, again, it's a free pass. No additional fuel, no additional horsepower. We're going to crimp the bottom, 1.5 foot of stalk. We're going to crimp it. These flat edges are going to crack that shell open. It will allow moisture and microbes to get inside of there. That's what we've always preached. But another benefit that you're going to get is, envision hitting your field with a vertical tillage tool or any tillage tool in the fall with your stalk standing straight up and down. You come through here with a blade that's running parallel with that stalk, and that blade cannot cut or chop this stalk that's standing straight up. Now, if your stalks were flat and you came through with a tool of any sort, it's going to get a much better cut and much better chop on that stalk than if it were standing straight up. So not only does it do a great job by itself if you're no-till, but if you're doing any tillage, whether that's in the spring or fall, you are going to benefit from that stalk being laid down flat. Go through that field at maybe a 45-degree angle, and you're going to get a beautiful cut. So it starts with the corn head, stalk rolls, and then the Devastator. That is an absolute must. At the very second that you are going through there with the combine, your residue management program is initiated. So right there, step one, that's a must. From there, you could pick any type of tillage tool. I'm not going to get into tillage tools with this particular video. I'm mainly talking some easy attachments. But we run the Salfords, run that 2200 in the spring, run the Halo VRT in the fall, or whatever it is that you want to use to manage that residue. Now from there, I'm going to talk row cleaners. Row cleaners are obviously a spring pass with the planter, and I think that is a huge deal. With soybeans, when we're going back into corn, you know, we've got our size chopped up with stalk roll. We've got really brittle stalks now because we've ran the Devastator, and now we just need to move that trash out of the way so that we can get good seed to soil contact, so that our double disc openers are running on clean ground and we're not hairpinning that residue down into the seed trench profile. So these row cleaners will just simply move that residue out of the way. From there, we're going to finish, of course, with a closing wheel. The row cleaner creates that nice bare ground area for the closing wheel to work. Now, I have a lot of guys talk about, well, on 15-inch rows, the back row of units is going to throw my residue back onto the front row, and it might. But the goal there of a row cleaner is not really just to have a bunch of strips of bare dirt. If we're throwing residue back on top of there, they have already done their job. That front unit already has got that seed planted, and we've already closed that trench, and if a little bit of residue gets on top of there, that's not the end of the world. That's not really what it was designed to do. It was designed to create a clean path to get a seed down into that clean seed trench. So if we have already cleaned the trench, we have already placed the seed, and we have already closed the slot, these row cleaners, their job is complete at that point. So if that front row comes through here, cleans, seed is placed through the seed tube or speed tube, the poly spike closing wheels come in, close the trench, and if a little bit of residue from that back rank comes on top of that, the deal's already done. The seed's placed in the clean soil, and that seed trench, it's already clean, there's no hairpinning, and we're good to go. That seed's going to fight right through there, no problem, and that's a non-issue. Now, these row cleaners do have different pitches to them. They've got a 60-degree pitch or a 45, mainly to help get that trash to flow between 15-inch center rows. So if you do see some residue getting thrown, it's not a big deal. It's not something I would worry about. And like I said, the job is already done. So when it comes to managing residue, I can promise you we're going to run into these issues all spring. We had some of the better yields we've had. The corn came off wet. Every single leaf was still on that stalk when that combine came through. And we're going to need to either do some vertical tillage, or we're going to need attachments like these row cleaners, the stalk rolls, the Devastator, and poly spike closing wheels to effectively and efficiently get in there and be able to plant behind this heavy residue. I'm telling you, I did some tillage demos and was out in the fields this fall. There was a mat 4 to 5 inches deep of residue just laying there on the ground, and if you don't have tools to start breaking them down as soon as that combine rolls through, it's going to be a struggle to get even and clean emergence on soybeans or whatever it is that you're going to plant behind that corn here in the spring of 2024. So look at these attachments, row cleaners, stalk rolls, Devastators, closing wheels. Make sure your seed discs are good, and contact us for more information and more help to more effectively, more efficiently manage the residue on your farm. That's what we're doing today, and thanks for tuning in.